And we are back with an all-new episode of Keep It. I am Ira Madison III.
I am Emmy nominee Louis Bertel. And do you know who I hear is going to be a secret guest on Keep It today? You're not going to believe this. Beyonce. I'm kidding. That's a DNC joke. We really were the stupidest people alive last week.
That snowballed very quickly.
Yes.
In a really insane way. And so much that I was texting people who were at the DNC who at first were not Jon, and Tommy, by the way. I have other friends who are at the DNC.
And you also have friends who've heard of Beyonce. So why would you even go to them?
Jon Lovett, who doesn't even want to play Renaissance at his birthday party. We don't have to talk about him right now.
Oh, okay. I'll remember that.
Yeah, remember that? Beyonce was rumored to be performing at the DNC. Now, this rumor had been going on for like a week.
Yeah.
You know, people have really been talking about it, imagining like, oh, maybe she's going to be there because she didn't perform at the Olympics closing ceremony, as if she was picking between one of the two.
She's like, I can only do one.
In my hand,
yeah,
I hold one performance. And so once we got to the last day of the DNC, there were several things going on. One, we got a report that there was a special time slot being held at the DNC, and only a few staffers knew what this time slot was going to entail.
Yeah, and it's not Australian breakdancing. We're assuming it's something amazing that we're all going to gag
Ray Gun
at.
was booked.
Yes, right.
Yeah. She's standing trial
for
her crimes at the Olympics.
She's at Guantanamo right now. Yes, right.
Still open.
Yeah, right.
And then someone on the Kamala team tweeted out a bee emoji.
No, they didn't. I did not know that.
They tweeted. You did not see this? Hold on.
Kamala.
So it was White House political director Emmy Ruiz who posted a bee emoji on Twitter. And then Ruiz later said, sorry, guys, my 6-year-old took my phone.
That makes me murderous.
I mean, maybe her 6-year-old was really hoping for Beyonce, too.
No, I mean, her 6-year-old is a genius. Yeah. And an asshole. Well, it would have been amazing if, like, for example, Lily Gladstone and her collection of bees showed up on the DNC stage or something like that. And it was just a misdirect. But it also just means literally nothing. The bees didn't turn into Beyonce or anything related to entertainment.
By the way, side note, I was just thinking about, you just brought up Lily Gladstone and the bees, and then I was thinking about your interview with Billy Magnuson and Peter Sarsgaard being a beekeeper.
Right.
Lily and Peter, link up.
Yeah.
We need to see this.
Yeah.
Some sort of bee movie or documentary. Not an actual bee movie like Jerry Seinfeld.
Right, no. And then maybe Maggie Gyllenhaal could adapt it. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a bee emoji. There's rumors that Beyonce's going to be there because of a secret time slot. I'm texting friends at the DNC. Earlier in the day, I was being told, absolutely not. She's not coming.
Right.
Later in the day, they were like, yeah, looks like she's coming.
What?
And then TMZ confirmed it.
Right.
That she was coming. And Ta-Nehisi Coates couldn't even get in as press on that last day because the floor was packed, apparently, because people heard about the Beyonce rumor and truly everybody was rushing to the DNC so that they could see her. And then lo and behold, we do not see Beyonce anywhere on that stage.
We saw Pink and the Chicks, which, you know, I think they're fans of Beyonce. Is that possible that that's what they were going for? I have no idea. But by the way, can I just say on that front, so the Chicks sang the national anthem, and it was not the Chicks national anthem that I wanted. They, in the past, they did a Super Bowl performance, and it was fabulous. This was less so, and I went down bad. I don't know how to explain my feelings, actually. I love those girls so much, and it was only okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a great performance. I think we needed to bring that trapeze out for Pink because the note was somewhere in the air.
Barnum and Bailey put it up there for her, and she could not reach it. Our Ringling sister.
But you know what? Maybe they weren't ready to make nice.
That's true, right? They keep claiming they're not. Yes.
Yeah. Beyonce did not appear. Kamala appeared. At some point, Yvette, who is Beyonce's publicist, the other most powerful publicist in the world, who's not Tree Payne, yes. Taylor Swift's publicist, Yvette put on Instagram the nastiest little post. And I'm going to read this to you.
Thank you.
A photo of Kinzinger, a former member of the January 6th Select Committee, where it says on a chyron at the bottom, speaking tonight, Kamala Harris. So just a photo of whatever was on her TV at the moment. And she wrote, at home, watching and anticipating the VP's historic speech. Focus on the win and register to vote. Do not report rumors. Focus. American flag.
Thank you so much.
You couldn't have posted that earlier?
Right. Yes, just like allay our fears. Because cause not only do we want Beyonce to appear, we want it to be the momentous occasion of the year or whatever. So please just quash that right away. Get us feeling exactly the way we should be ahead of this, great Kamala moment, Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of sad. And a commentary on American politics that we were all super excited, geeked for Beyonce to appear more than we were, the Democratic proceedings.
Yeah, right. But whatever. Like, you got Tim Walz' kid crying, which that's the theatrics you want. That was fabulous. We love to see that. And again, Pink did her handsprings or whatever she does. So that's enough for me.
I needed the possible appearance of Beyonce anyway, because I'm sorry. This could have been my keep it, but it's coming out right now. The DNC fans.
Right.
Like, I get my friends who are at work, but I'm talking about people who actually genuinely attended the DNC like they were attending the Olympics. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it's not really a, rip your shirt open and belt to the stars sort of occasion. Yeah.
You spent 4 fucking days sitting through speeches?
Right. They do put them online. Now they put them online where you can see speeches and then, move on with your time.
Also, I don't need that much jingoism in my life. I can watch The West Wing. It's on streaming.
That's just it. I mean, I would say the speeches get a bit repetitive after a while. You know what I mean? Like, some of them have great moments and, novel moments, but for the most part, it's the same thing again and again, really,
Yeah, and especially since the DNC is always very not for us. The Beyonce thing was finally something that was for us, right? I mean, the DNC is always very, here is a big show for the moderate and maybe deciding voters that always seem to pop up every 4 years. And we're going to convince them to vote for us by talking about cops and the military. And I'm like, okay, girl. Not for me.
I have a date. Yeah. And I don't have a date. It's a lie. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm obviously loving Kamala, and I've been loving the whole run up to this. But the speech was certainly not for me. So
sure. Yes. I guess I appreciate the very online insider joke of her wearing a coconut brown pantsuit. Which dovetails with the lovely coconut meme that queer people have created for ourselves to be amused with, that I actually don't need to see referenced in any way by Kamala other than that.
Yeah. Do not ever say lip sync the quote.
No.
If she appears on Drag Race and Rue tries to make a joke about it, shoot him.
Yeah. He's not that fast. You can do it. Yeah.
Speaking of RuPaul, Rue was guest hosting for Kimmel.
That's right. Yes, I wrote his gayer news bit he did on Monday. Yes.
Listen, I know it's not really her thing, but it was very funny watching Rue interact with FKA Twigs.
Oh my God! Also, and not only FKA Twigs, Maya Rudolph, where he goes, "Your mom sang that song, Lovin' You," and then sings it, and then goes and hits the crazy note that Minnie Riperton sings and screams it. It is really funny, but it's a long walk to this bit. Yeah.
That Maya was unsettled.
Yeah.
and then Twigs, we know she takes her work very seriously.
Yeah.
Even if her current album, Eusexia, is about techno clubs in Prague, which is it's not that serious.
No.
We're just doing drugs and dancing, baby.
Right.
But,
and there's some
Rue
goulash nearby. Yeah.
Rue trying to make Hollywood Squares jokes
Yeah.
with Twigs as she's just looking at him like, huh?
Oh, I can give you this backstage insight into RuPaul. So I had to get some notes from RuPaul over a sketch. I go in to his dressing room, and of course there's Raven, who does Rue's makeup, and
Simone?
Nope. Yeah, it's not Simone. Simone. And guess what artist RuPaul is listening to? I'll give you one guess.
Paula Abdul?
A little older, same vibe.
Okay. Shaka Khan?
Sheena Easton.
Sheena Easton. White. Same vibe.
Yes.
The vibe should have been Caucasian.
Yes,
Sorry.
right. I sat down and I go, Sheena Easton, Best New Artist 1981. And he goes, I know you knew that, Jeopardy. I am now Jeopardy to RuPaul.
That's your new nickname.
I know, just Jeopardy. Yeah. As I wear this shirt today.
That is a high compliment from a black person, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
One thing that we do is, now this can either be an insult or it can be praise, but we usually refer to you by either something you've done or like something you're wearing. You know, like you could just say like, okay, shirt. If you're like, I love your shirt. Or I would be like, all right, shirt, if I needed you to shut up. So, okay, Jeopardy. That's a good it's a good sign from Rue.
Yeah, a mantle I'll carry. What the hell is happening this episode? What are we doing?
Well, our guest this week is the delightful Hannah Berner.
We take from the jump. She is immediately fabulous, as we knew she would be. So look forward to that.
She was like, you heard of Rock Hudson?
Wait to see me jump. Wile E. Coyote shit when she says Rock Hudson's name.
Yeah, she is one half of the Giggly Squad podcast, which she co-hosts with Paige DeSorbo, her friend who she used to be on Summer House with. And Paige has been on Keep It before, so we've collected them all.
You go, Ash Ketchum, or whatever.
Also this week, would you know, Jennifer Lopez is afraid of the truth, okay? And that is why she waited until minutes after we recorded last week's episode to file for divorce against Ben Affleck.
She said it herself. This is her now, okay? So just things like this occur.
So we're going to get into the Bennifer of it all. There's a lot to get into, by the way. Like, a lot has unfolded even in the days since the announcement that they're getting a divorce. Sort of like the It Ends With Us drama, which is still going on, by the way.
No, it's like War and Peace. We're going to go into like year 6 of this shit soon.
Right. Now, did you hear that there is the maybe scandal that Ryan rewrote a scene for It Ends With Us, and it may have happened during the writer's strike?
Oh, exciting. Please, let's get into some violations now.
And then also, we are going to talk about the new pop girl of the moment, Sabrina Carpenter.
And let's be clear, she was kind of waylaid by Brat Summer. Like, I had sort of thought she was on the downturn. And then this album came out, and now it may be the definitive summer experience. We'll get into it.
Yeah, so we will be right back with more Keep It. This past weekend, Sabrina Carpenter finally dropped her much-anticipated album, Short and Sweet. And if you thought Espresso was keeping you up all night, you will never sleep again after listening to this album, because it is crack cocaine. Lewis.
I cannot believe she did it. I mean, I thought it was going to be good because I love the singles, but I would not skip a song on this album. And they're not all entirely pop bangers in the vein of Espresso, but what is addictive about this, as you just said, citing crack cocaine, her personality. I mean, look, I really enjoyed that Diamonds and Dance Floors album by Ava Max, but that really is just state-of-the-art beats and hooks, and then the vocal is just a part of that. This is a pop album where all of the state-of-the-art production not only serves the songs themselves, which are great, it really pushes to the fore this fabulous personality. I would say this is almost the movie Clueless of pop albums, where you want to look at it, it's like a fresh, witty vibe, but at the same time, what you're really getting is an album that is an assembly line delivery system for this fabulous personality. Like, it really is an arrival of a star and a new, fabulous vibe.
Yeah, what's so interesting about this album is that we've gotten hints of Sabrina Carpenter's personality a bit when, you remember when Nonsense was popular, as she kept changing that outro.
Yeah.
Every time she sang it. And then it's kind of, I was like, all right, I'm getting sick of this girl. But she managed to still make it funny. And now the album itself is like really funny. There's jokes within the lyrics.
Yes, it's constantly funny. It's almost never not funny. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny. She's singing, like you said, with personality. You know, these are songs that were, written for her. I'm sure she had an involvement in it in the studio or whatever, but it is really sort of songs that feel like they are tailor-made for her.
Yes.
And I will credit Amy Allen, Julia Michaels for being songwriters on this album, and then also Julian Bonetta and John Ryan, who are producers on this. They were famously the producers on like the last few One Direction albums, and I really think that is kind of what we were missing from pop. Like, when you revisit One Direction songs, they were poppy. They fit all those boys' personalities, and they were good. They were bangers, but they also felt funny and kind of romantic too. And I feel like we're getting back to that sort of era of pop music with this album.
And also, I guess the word to describe that, I'm stealing this from my girl Bonnie McKee, a maximalist pop vibe. You know what I mean? It's not like there's nothing like hidden in the corridors about this, or like I'm being awkward. Actually, that's another thing I love about this album. Not a split second of her personality is self-conscious. It's like the thing that's great about Kylie Minogue. It's just an effervescent, unself-conscious, let's all have a good time vibe. Like, you're invited, and also, aren't I cheeky? She does have that like Betty Boop wink and whatever she does, and that's exactly
she's
the right.
Booping.
Yes, she's the boopiest. I mean, if I had to rank them.
Even Please, 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 which would make you think it's a song about her begging a man to stay with her, is not. It's like, no, don't embarrass me, motherfucker. Like, it's the twist in what you think the song is going to be is so fun. And honestly, Jack Antonoff produced that song. He produced Slim Pickens. I think that this is some of Jack's best work in a long while.
Also, I have to say something else about this. We keep talking about how it's just like, a very well done pop album, but she's doing versions of songs that I kind of expected from other artists, like Slim Pickens, which has a bit of an emotional quality to it. That's sort of what I am missing from Casey Musgraves right now.
Yeah.
Like the song Bedchem, which, by the way, Bedchem, BED space CHEM. When you put the word chem,
funny line.
Yes, but I keep wanting to call the song Chemsex, which, by the way, is not the same thing. You can look it up yourself. Please don't get involved. I'll do PSAs if I have to. But that song, with its kind of a hint of funk, that really bedroom swimmy groove, that's what I want from Charlie Puth. Like, I would say, like, she's doing certain things here that I wish Ariana Grande was doing. So in a way, it's a culmination of lots of missed opportunities for other artists, I think, also.
Yeah, I think, the Ariana Grande of it all, the Charlie Puth of it all, is very much what we've been missing from those two artists too. Like, Ariana is very funny. I mean, 3435 is funny. It's not her funniest, but like, she always used to have songs that were hilarious, and Charlie Puth, the Done For Me era, Attention, like, these were pop songs that were maximalist pop, but they had so much personality.
Yeah, attitude. And so, by the way, almost like, I don't want to use the word unlikable. I hate saying, like, like just putting it out there, like, here's my douchebag relationship vibe, and now it's a song. It's like, I'm not saying I endorse that, but it's real in a way, So that's what I think you're also getting from this album is like a sense of a real person in real relationships, and also not just talking about the same type of relationship 25,000 times, not to diss our girl Taylor once again, who remains in the same YA storyline from 25 years ago. Anyway.
Here you go. Why does a man always got to bring up Taylor Swift?
Wait, but okay, on the critical front, though, can you guess the one lyric on this album I don't like?
Yes, the gay awakening line.
Oh no, I enjoyed that. That was kind of funny because they put, and then there's they I guess inserted a grinder noise when she.
Yeah.
That was very clever. No, it's in the song "Dumb and Poetic" when she's making fun of this guy and she says, "Try to come off like you're soft and well spoken. Jack off to lyrics by Leonard Cohen." That to me, first of all, if a man knows any song that is older than Despacito at this point, please keep him. My God, we need him around. We're at a dearth. Second of all, Leonard Cohen is awesome. And third of all, it just feels like, I could be wrong about this, maybe Sabrina wrote it herself. To me, that feels like some other songwriter thought he was in his bag, being like, oh, this is the kind of things girls complain about. And it actually sounds like a leftover lyric from like Katy Perry's One of the Boys era.
That's fair. I will say what's interesting about Sabrina and why she sort of fits in the mold of all of these different songs is she is a Disney girl.
Quite.
And these Disney girls...
And she's from Girl Meets World, by the way.
Yes, which I completely blanked on that she was that character on the show, even though I watched about 6 episodes of Girl Meets World.
It didn't win the Peabody. It's easy to forget. Yeah.
But she's fit the mold of all of these different characters, vibes, etc. Like these Disney people can do anything, basically. And her previous albums, this is her 6th album, by the way.
No, this is going to be a Shelby Lynn situation where I am almost sure she's going to be nominated for Best New Artist, and she already has this giant catalog behind her.
Yeah, and I think that's also why this is such an assured pop album. Emails I Can't Send, which had come out a couple years ago, which had Nonsense on it. It had Feather.
Is Sumi on that album too?
That's Singular Act 1, which was a 2-part album that she did. The first one was very poppy, and then Singular Act 2 is sort of like R&B and hip-hop inspired. She's had 5 albums prior to this, so she's had the chance to be messy and play around with her sound. Like Singular Act 2 has this song, They Looking at Me, which was basically like it came out the year after Havana and is literally her doing her best Camila Cabello, And so she has tried on different hats, different sounds, and I think she's finally at the sound that works for her. And I think that it's fantastic that the album sort of blends like pop and R&B and country in a fun way where it doesn't sound like a bunch of things thrown together, Like they all sound like they're part of the same album.
Right. Also, it must be said about this album, this is one of the aggressively most horny and libidinous and sexual albums
She's Betty Boop!
On the market. I mean, when she says, "Come right on me," I mean, camaraderie. I mean, excuse me? I mean, like, now I'm Tipper Gore. I'm like, slap a sticker on that album. Yeah.
There are 2 songs on this album that are reminiscent of other R&B songs. Bad Kim is Giving You to Mia So Into You.
Yes.
And Good Graces, which is my absolute favorite. Like,
you have been popping off about Good Graces, and I do get it. I like the song, and I also can't place what it reminds me of.
Ghost Town DJ is my boo.
Oh, of course. That's exactly what it sounds like. Yes.
Yes. Megan Garvey reminded me of that. She's doing the work.
Also, I have not stopped playing. I mean, I don't skip a track, even though there are singer-songwriterly songs on this that aren't as, that really feel more Casey Musgraves than, say, Katy Perry. It all fits together. I love how coherent it is, even given the range of styles. And the range of styles is very casual. She's, as you said, she appoints herself to all these different genres, and they work for her.
Listen, she's tugging on Ponytail, all right?
Yeah. Right. I mean, like, who's playing that album? I mean, again, it's like, I'm not playing that Dua Lipa album right now. You know, like, this is giving me what I wanted from that album, too. Like, Ariana Grande, I'm not really listening to that as much. I just want to say, Tinashe's album that we talked about last week debuted at 199. How is that possible?
I thought she made it out of the Kia asylum.
Why did Kia put her name on that brand of asylums? Why? Or Kaya, sorry. Yes.
My best friend Drew told me that that Kia for him stands for creating her impact alternatively.
It seems above board until you get to the final adverb. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, going back to Ariana, I was listening to that album so much this year, to be honest, Eternal Sunshine. But Ariana is as matured as an artist to the point where, you know, she was going through a divorce. She was making Wicked, you know, like there was a lot mentally going on for her that she needed to get out on that album. So it makes sense that Sabrina Carpenter is able to have a lighter, hornier, freer album than Ariana at her current place in her career, you know, which is great. I mean, this is giving me, it's the 10th anniversary this year of My Everything, and this is feeling like it's hearkening back to that era of Ariana Grande.
Yes. I mean, it's right there in the lyrics too. Espresso, my give a fucks are on vacation. That is extremely the general feeling of this album, certainly.
Also, she broke up with Barry.
Did she really?
Yeah, of course. Did he Instagrammed a photo with his kid, so he has free time now to be a dad.
Wow. And to be more jokery.
Yeah. That's sad. I like them together. I like a short king and queen.
Yeah, the shortest. I mean, they're the new Rhea Perlman and Danny DeVito. Yes.
Yeah. Did they break up and get back together often?
Yeah, they did break up at least once and then got back together because God said, I put you both here for a reason on this planet. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, so what's your favorite on the album?
Ultimately, I mean, I think Espresso's still the best song. Bedchem to me is the jam. I just love a song that has that kind of sexy, sinister vibe. And also the lyrics are downright filthy. Like the thermostat going to 69. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, baby. Bedcam, she made that one for the, you know, we'll leave that word out.
Yeah,
but
it reminds me of that Brian McKnight album where he made just very sexually explicit music, and it was LOL because when you say those words out loud, it's funny. But I also love the song Juno. I May Let You Impregnate Me is the theme of the song, and it's but it's a bouncy pop song that belongs on the first Carly Rae Jepsen album, which is still to me her best album.
Speaking of Brian McKnight, do you know his tour sales are in the toilet?
That's your update on Brian McKnight.
Yes, because
I hate the Back at One video. I hate the Back at One video. Beautiful man, hate the Back at One video.
He had some crazy statement where he called his children with his ex-wife products of sin because he called them, he favored his new family, like marriage, you know, or something like, you know, like being part of like the real marriage is what really makes his current family great, and his old kids were like products of sin.
Whoa, psychotic. Okay.
Yeah. So now people have responded by not going to his shows.
Reap what you sow. Okay. Yeah.
Now he's back at one. Square one.
One ticket. Yeah. Back at no tickets, please. Yeah.
All right. Well, when we're back, sorry. All right. Well, when we're back, Hannah Berner joins us. Our guest this week is not just one of the funniest women in comedy, but one of the funniest people. From her podcast Giggly Squad with her co-host Paige DeSorbo and Burner Phone to her recent Netflix special We Ride at Dawn, she sang her piece on bachelorette parties, older men, which she calls zaddies, and the girls are fiending for it. Please welcome to Keep It, Hannah Berner.
Thank you for having me, boys. I also love how different your shirts are right now.
Oh yeah, it's a real. What it look like the White Stripes or something. It's a red and white thing. Yeah.
We have Jeopardy and American Psycho, two very different brands, and I'm obsessed. That's the chaotic energy I want.
You know, that's also represents both of our brands too.
Yeah.
Arguably too well.
That's how I am with my podcast host. We always walk in not for the same event ever.
I know, and I've had the pleasure of Paige being on Keep It before.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about, the Giggly Squad in general. It is, your podcast is blown up. You're everywhere, and you have a book coming out too.
Yeah, it's crazy because we can't read or write.
Controversial choice to give you a book. Yeah.
Yeah. We thought we were getting like spammed, but I do think that when you like find someone, a friend that you have great chemistry with, you should monetize it. No, I'm just kidding. But I think the reason Giggly Squad has been so fun is because we actually never had a business plan or anything. It was the kind of thing where we just kept wanting to do it, and it's like my favorite time of the week is just talking with Paige. And I think in your 20s and your 30s, you're so lucky to find like a person that just like loves you unconditionally and latch on to that. I think a lot of people want to be like popular and have hundreds of friends, and it's like find just some real ones and surround yourself with good people. And Paige is like my person. She's my wife.
Can you tell this to the gay community? Because all we do is meet thousands of other people who dress the exact same as us, and we don't really prioritize like a dozen, the way you just said.
Oh my God, this is so random. Did you guys watch the Rock Hudson documentary?
I'm a human being, aren't I? Of course
Yeah,
I saw that.
Of course.
I was like fascinated by like in Santa Monica, they just had like his harem.
Yeah.
of like hot men, and they just like kept going, and I'm like, how many close friends did this guy have? But then all of them kept it on lock, like no one exposed him or outed him. Anyway, I was jealous. I was like, I want that.
No.
I want that kind of protection in the community.
No, what's weird is like we're obsessed with old Hollywood or whatever, but like we will never know the full story with some of these people because they really kept the secrets. I mean, just as they had to, at the time.
And it was so funny to have like the older guys just be like, back in my day, we had a great time in Santa Monica. And these guys I was like, you don't look like you've ever even been to a party. And they're like, we had orgies, a lot of orgies.
I would say that is a great gift, sort of, it even goes like to current gay community though. I feel like there's secrets that stay within a gay community that will never let out. But the too many friends thing is one of them. The networks, they're wide, Hannah. I mean, Louis and I are Leos too, so we like, like a big birthday party. But like, and I know you're one too, aren't you?
I'm a Leo, yeah.
Yes. Do you like a big birthday party?
I'm an August Leo.
Yes.
I'm obnoxiously a Leo.
So I just had my birthday party, and it's like you have one that's close friends. I mean, yes. I'm a gay who lives in New York. So like, it was a small one at a rooftop, but then like you still run into people who are like, wow, I guess I didn't get that invite to your birthday party. And I'm like, I can't be close friends with
Just
everybody.
come to the Eagle.
Like just walk outside, and every day is my birthday. We're celebrating. I'm bringing you my personality. Enjoy it. I do think though, like I love being like friends and like on good terms with it. Like I think about high school, like I like walking down the hallway and being fist bumping everyone and get in here. But there's only like 3 or 4 people that I'm sending memes to all day. Mm-hmm. Like we only have so much capacity to send so many inside jokes. So like I have my people, and then overall just like trying to feel connected. I feel like you have like a party group too in your 20s, and then in your 30s you get a little more like tired, and like who's actually going to show up for you when there isn't, a fun, glamorous event.
Well, the meme thing is actually interesting too, because I mean, you are a funny person, and I assume that your friends and stuff, always look to you for, your take on something, or they want to share something funny with you. Like people, I feel like people do that to me and Louis too, like they want to take part in that. Yeah. But does that then become exhausting too? It's like you can send 3 memes all day to like your close friends, and you're doing that back and forth. But then there'll be people who are probably responding to like your Instagram stories, or trying to start a joke with you or laugh with you, and you're like, I don't have the mental capacity to respond to everything that you think is funny.
The thing is the online community, there's so many different parts of it, and I've somehow created this corner of the internet of like people who just want to laugh. So I like love when I post a photo and then the comments are just like eating me up, like in an inside joke kind of way. And sometimes my followers are so much funnier than me. Like the shit they say, like it's so entertaining. So I kind of love the energy of like my DMs are just people trying to make me laugh, which like it could be so much fucking worse. And then I feel like the people who are close to me are so annoyed by me. Like my like Paige and my husband, if you look at our DMs, it's just me sending them memes and they're not responding. So like my close friends don't appreciate it, where like everyone else is like, Hannah's so funny. Where Paige is like, if you send me one more cat meme, I swear to God, and I'm like, this is quality. But I got into comedy because I felt like I was always like the funny one in the group chat, but I didn't know that could be a career. And then growing up as a someone from New York, like I feel like you're always just busting each other's balls, and that's just like how we cope with things is to find laughter. Like the only thing I've ever been able to control in this life is laughter. So it's ironic that became the thing that I do for a living.
I feel like you have definitive podcaster energy. Like you could talk to anybody. You could make other people interesting who like have never spoken once in their life. Like the children who are like didn't speak till they were 8. You could get a great story out of them. But
oh my God.
But what's interesting is like, even though you're this like definitively modern comic, I feel like then when you reach a certain level of success, then you have to do like an old-fashioned comedy special or put out an old-fashioned book. How has it been fashioning what you do to these formats that are not as extremely modern as, say, you are?
Great question. Well, I'm actually really passionate about like why there's not more women or gays in the stand-up community. Like, why is it so straight men? Because I know it's not that straight men are fun. Like, I'm sorry, gay men are just born funny through the trauma. I don't know what the like algorithm is. It's just you guys are just the funniest fucking people. So it's like, why isn't everyone a gay man on Netflix doing stand-up? And then like women, comedy's made for women. Like, we love to gossip, we love to complain, we love to observe. We're socially like really into everything. Like, that's comedy. So I was kind of obsessed with why there weren't more gays and girls doing stand-up. And then I realized, like, just coming up, the stand-up space is just not the most welcoming space for like all kinds of people. So like you might be like, I'm funny, and start going to some like clubs at like 11 p.m. in the Bronx with like a bunch of dudes who are just drunk, and then no one's laughing, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not funny and this isn't for me. But you just aren't speaking to like your community. So I kind of love the concept. I use TikTok as like my open mic, which is so much safer and easier to just be like, I'm going to say a thought and see who it reaches. So I have like bits on Netflix that you can like go back months or years to like when I first started it as a TikTok rant, to then I tried it in the club, to then I tried it in the theater, to then eventually it got to Netflix. But I did a more non-traditional route, and I think we're in a really exciting time where like different voices can get involved in comedy through the not modern space to then change like what the stereotypical landscape of stand-up is. That's my thesis.
That makes perfect sense. Also, I also just want to add to that. I think a big like barrier of entry to stand-up is just that a huge part of the audience of stand-up is men, and men, generally speaking, don't like seeing anybody except other straight men as authorities. Being funny is one thing, but like when somebody is on stage, they're like, we're agreeing with what they're saying. You know, we're subscribing, and I think there's a bit of like. There's an emasculating quality to, if it's not somebody who is exactly me on stage, then they're better than me, or they're cowing me or whatever.
That is such a fucking good point, and I've actually never thought of it like that. I mean, Nikki Glaser has a joke where like people think male comics are hotter than they are because they are the authority. They're like, you know, just like telling people what to do, and that's hot. But like when a girl or a gay does it, the men are like, I don't really understand this dynamic. So it is kind of just evolving. I feel like when I'm on stage, I try to make it like we're all in on the joke. This isn't like, I'm not yelling at people, I'm not being mean for no reason. Like, this is an experience we all can be a part of. And then honestly, when the gays started to like me, my life changed. Yeah. Like once like a couple gay guys started to come to the show, I was like, am I Lady Gaga? And then my head got huge. My head got fucking huge, because most of the gays, they like Paige. Like, Paige is the girly one. She has the great outfits. But then when the gays started to like my comedy, I was like, I started to become a monster. I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. No one tell me what to do. This is my path. So shout out to the gays for believing in me.
Ira and I are still waiting for that endorsement, by the way. So good for you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's easier. It's harder within your own community.
Yeah, we don't want to see each other
Yeah,
win.
right.
You know.
Oh God. But it is. I've always been so fascinated by gays in comedy because, well, especially lesbians have really paved the way for women because they don't give a fuck what straight men think. So they get on stage and they're just like, I don't care if you think I look hot. I don't care if you think this is funny. I don't give a fuck about you. Where straight women might be more so be like, ooh, I'm distracted by this and that. And then gay men, I think, have just, they don't want to be around gross straight dudes.
Yeah. I mean, even going back to what Louis was saying, you know, there's also this idea of, you know, lesbian women on stage or women that a band doesn't necessarily have to be attracted to. We were talking about this Netflix special, you know, about queer people in stand-up recently. You know, it's like the lesbians, I feel like they would lean into, you know, like their look, like a masculine look, like on stage. They're not conforming to what a man sort of thinks a woman has to look like. And I think that even when you think about comedy and television shows and movies, you know, there's usually the idea that we grew up with men writing these shows, right? And so you always see the narrative of like a Screech or someone like trying to get the girl, and the girl is usually like a hot girl who's a bitch, you know? And so
it's just not multifaceted.
Right. No.
Yeah. Because it's them writing a wish fulfillment for themselves in a way, you know?
Yes, 100%. And I think when I was on stage, I love showing that like women can be, you can be hot, but you can also be insecure, and you could be a boss, but also have anxiety. And I like love playing with that. And I also think I love playing with like outfits and fashion. You see right now live events are so fun, from like Taylor Swift, Chappell Roan, all that stuff. And like, that's what I want to embody when I'm on stage. And stand-up comedy, that's never what people thought about it, but like hot girls and gays come to my shows as like a party, as an event, and they know they feel safe, and it's become like so much more glamorous than I ever thought it could be.
I also want to say about your shows, the way you interact with audience members is always so memorable, which is no surprise given that you on TikTok are fabulous at interacting with weirdos on the street who are routinely extremely funny, just random people. When you interact with audience members, is there any trepidation about just inviting a random person to start speaking, or is that a particularly confident part of your act?
I think the trepidation is the fun part.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the road touring, doing my bits, and I'm honestly like a curious person. I love to gossip, and I get bored easily. So I'll be on stage, and I'll see a guy with like a strange hat, and I'm like, I need to know everything about this man. Like, how did this happen? Why is he with her? So I think for me, it's like a fun chat. It's just like an improv game where I just go, what's going on here? And I go in with like, I want everyone to be in on the joke. And then when you talk to someone and you guys have this moment together throughout the show, I get to do callbacks to be like, remember we all were part of this? And then I feel very connected to the audience because I'm not giving a speech. It's really more of like a dance. If they're not giving me things back, then it's like, yeah, stand-up is really more like you feel like a conductor, and you're with the crowd. It's not a speech at all. You have to have the crowd like involved, especially as you start doing bigger rooms. You're like, are people in the back? Are you guys in on this? Like, I'm just like very obsessed with, maybe I'm just a people pleaser, but I'm obsessed with the audience feeling connected.
Giggly Squad is getting so big now for you and Paige. And of course, Paige is still on Summer House, the Bravo show that you used to be on. Has there ever been any sort of desire to go back to the show, at least to promote the podcast?
Yeah.
You know, like, is that something you're like, I never want to be under a Bravo light again?
I think, I honestly, I have like so much gratitude toward Bravo, and I feel like I wouldn't be here without them like putting me on. And I think that now it's kind of like, I don't know if it just would make sense because I'm not on it.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of like you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting to sort of get a start from a show, like at least for a wider audience, you know?
Yeah.
And then sort of now you've done an excellent job at establishing, you know, your own self outside of that now.
Yeah,
you know,
I also
years
feel like
later.
when I'm in something, I give it my all. And I feel like I really gave that show my all. So it's like, let's be honest, you don't half-ass Hannah coming in for 2 minutes.
Yeah. I feel like shows like that must be the most exhausting gig in TV because you just want to make sure the material's there and you have to make it your life and you have to make it authentic and just give a compelling performance constantly, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, and I love making a great show and I love being on. I think Giggly Squad was so successful because there was so much footage of us being funny that just ended up on the cutting room floor with reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, so like something would air and I was like, oh my God, they didn't put any, they kind of like to laugh at you, not laugh with you, which like is very funny sometimes. But I feel like Paige and I shine when you're like, you're in on the joke with us. And I think reality TV, they're not always ready to be like, oh, these people are actually making jokes. Like, all I wanted to do was make the video guy laugh because they were so bored.
Right.
These poor guys were so bored, sweating profusely. And I'd just be sitting there. Every now and then I'd be like mid-crying and then I'd like try to say something to make them laugh. But it's funny how like you want to think what you want to put into this world. And I feel like I'm most valuable when I'm like being vulnerable and making people laugh. And I think sometimes reality TV, they don't want that side of you.
Yeah, there's no room in the episode arc or whatever for it. I'm saying that somewhat generously, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's sometimes not the storyline that you want to be.
Yeah. I mean, and like you said, you have to be on all the time. So you are filming all day and you're on in different scenes.
No,
and then you're like, well, 4% will be on TV.
I do have to say, people will like make fun of Paige and me back in the day and Sierra for being in the bed. The reason you're in the bed is because when you leave the bed, then you get into it with people. So if you stay in the bed, you're safe. We'd be in the bed and they'd be like, hey, can you guys go up to the kitchen because so-and-so wants to talk to you? We'd be like, no. So if you stay in the bed, you're safe. So it's like I would jump in the pool to be safe also because I'd have to take off my mic so no one could get to you when you're in the pool. There's all these like ways to like get a break. But yeah, emotionally it's difficult, but Paige and I are trauma bonded from it and we got stronger from it. And I kind of love when they don't want to see two girls get along and then they do and see where it goes. You know?
I assume this upcoming book was a good place to deposit all of these dimensions you keep talking about. Like you don't have to edit anything out. What's been the main pleasure of putting it together?
Oh my gosh, it's funny. It's been kind of therapeutic because we didn't ever say we wanted to write a book. It kind of came to us and then we were like, what the fuck do we write about? And every week we had no rules. I don't like rules. I'm better with like I'm an idea person and then tell me to like cut it down. So we just wrote about everything that would make us laugh. We opened up about our own like anxieties and just like we just didn't have much structure in it. It was more just like what makes each other laugh. And I think that's what's made my stand-up good is like if Paige wouldn't laugh at the joke, I'm not saying it. And I think when you write to just make your friend laugh, that's when other people connect to it.
That's also such a good way to get over writer's block is to think of an ideal audience. Maybe if it's even just one person, be like, okay, well, what would make that person laugh? And that then it becomes more of a social exercise than I'm coming up with something brilliant, this pretentious moment of creation. Yeah.
And I think people don't realize how much of stand-up is writing. So writing the book did actually come pretty naturally to me. And Paige and I would just riff and sit and be like, let's make each other laugh about like, you know, types of girls when they go on different bachelorette parties. Like, let's judge them. And we would just go in and it was just like fun. And I'm really proud of us to have like a physical thing. And it all just like wasn't planned. And I think sometimes that's the best stuff when you're not forcing it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Louis and I never wrote a damn book.
So
together, together.
No, I find the idea of writing a book so shocking. I just don't have the attention span. Didn't think anybody did anymore. So let alone, congrats to you.
To read a book or to write
both,
or both?
Both. Absolutely both. Yes.
Yeah. So this book, to be honest, like I was on tour the whole time, so I would like not write for like 2 months, and then I would get like a bunch of inspiration and sit down and write for like 4 hours and write like 40 pages, and then I would like not touch it for a while. So it wasn't this like wake up in the morning and write a page of my book and do that every day. It was not. It was like writer's block and then just like vomit and then writer's block again. And they would get worried. They'd be like, hey, like this is due next month, and I'm like, I just need 1 day of inspiration and I got you. And then it's a kind of book that you can literally pick up and read any chapter and enjoy it. And then it also is just like really cute coffee table book. Let's be honest. It's we found this like really cool Australian Instagram artist who does sick collages, and we were like, can you fuck up a collage for us in the cover? And she was like, yeah, and she did it, and we were like, this is perfect. So
Margot Robbie.
That was nice of her. Yeah.
It's her like side hustle that she does, and all you have to do is DM her.
Yeah. For the record, I did read. We didn't do a podcast one together. I did write a book.
Yes, right.
Shout out
myself. Yes, thank you. We're 2 book writers, and Leo's here. So, Louis, what are we doing? Write a trivia book.
Right. God, there's so much trivia in the world. I admire what you both do. Please.
How to win Jeopardy. Write your How to Win Jeopardy book.
Release a caption. That I can do. Yes.
Write a long caption.
I'll put 6 or 7 tweets together. Wait for it. Yeah.
Hannah, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my God, this was so much fun. I could talk to you guys forever. We were really vibing.
Yes. As we promised each other we would at the top of the show. Yes.
You guys are
Thank you so much, Hannah. Also, the special is so much fun. Congrats on it.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
After 2 years of marriage and months of rumors, Jennifer Lopez has officially filed for divorce from Ben Affleck. And now, hopefully, looking for a lawyer because apparently they did not have a prenup.
Oh, that shouldn't be messy at all. They'll tie this up really quickly. I give it 1 week.
I want to say something about Bennifer. I have never really liked this whole press cycle surrounding their marriage, in the sense that people were so giddy about the possibility of them getting a divorce before they even got married. The whole like Bennifer divorce watch thing always just felt very gross to me.
Or cynical, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
very cynical.
Yeah, not treating them like people, right.
Yeah. And it's weird because, I mean, like, obviously J-Lo has had a year of being dragged to hell and back. But we generally like them. Before this year, I feel like we generally enjoyed Ben Affleck, enjoyed J-Lo. It really wasn't until they got back together that people were like, actually, you know what? They suck.
I mean, Ben to me now feels like some 60s or 70s celebrity of like grizzled and like been through it, and like he should be in like a Raymond Chandler adaptation or something, like play a detective again or whatever. But I will say, my question about these two, what did we really want from them? Like, did we think we were going to get like amazing red carpet appearances, like dual interviews, a project together? Because I don't know that we're craving a Ben and J-Lo movie experience, really.
We have one. We have 2.
But that's what I mean. We have them. And I don't need a Dear Ben Part 3 or whatever she wanted to add to that. I don't need This Is Me with Ben now. So I'm not actually sure what the apex of this relationship should have been or could have been.
Okay, well, and this is going to be getting very, very raw, to
Please.
quote Nicole Kidman.
Yes. Her new word is ragged, actually. She's talking about her new movie. She's like, I was ragged on this movie.
Yes. Make sure the girls go and read my profile with her in L'Official, which is out now. People are mad at her, by the way, for saying that she wants to be in like a horror movie, like a hardcore horror movie, and people are like in my mentions saying, well, what about the others? And I'm like, first of all, that's a ghost story, bitch.
It's not a horror
psychological movie. It's psychological thriller.
It's frightening, but not like, like she's talking about Ty West, which is obviously gruesome. Yeah.
I'm going to get a little raw here. I think, honestly, what I was looking for both of them was for them to be happy. And I think that she's had so many marriages, and you watch her, like, This Is Me Now movie thing where she's working in the heart factory.
You know what I will say about that movie, when you describe it out loud, it does feel a bit dopey, but there are moments in it that, like, you're tapped into who she is and her creativity, so it works in a way.
It must feel incredibly emotionally, like, vulnerable, like you're ripping yourself open, like, and exposing yourself to the world, to make a movie about how you keep failing at love, but you want to keep looking for love, and everyone knows that this is about you. It's not a character. Like, this is actually you. And to be making it with your man who you had a failed engagement with years ago, and now you're back together. Like, I think I was just hoping that this was it for them, that, like, they've been through so many messy relationships that they finally just, like, found the person that was going to make them happy. And it was going to be, it. And, like, I didn't need any projects from them,
Yeah.
Like, just be happy and do your own shit,
And you've done enough, you know what I mean? Like, their careers are full. So,
yeah.
I will say on that front, though, hearing from the quote-unquote Jennifer Lopez sources that part of the reason they broke up was there's a darkness to Ben that nobody can fix. Why are we talking about him like he's the Batman? I mean, like, he's... is that really what you want to go on the record saying? Like, is that a helpful quote to put out into the world? It's so vague and strange.
I mean, I'm sure Matt Damon could fix it.
So,
His
right.
one true love, to be honest.
Yeah, precisely. No, also, apparently that movie, The Last Duel, was really good.
Oh, I should go see that. I'm streaming, I'm sure. On Tubi. I don't know.
Yeah. Tubi, always a good reference.
I mean, the darkness thing was so silly. But then you also think of him in, like, his era of celebrity it's very much him and George Clooney and Brad Pitt. I mean, and we know what's going on there, So I'm like, I mean, these are men who need some therapy and some healing.
I'm still getting over Tarantino saying that George Clooney isn't a movie star. That just means there are no movie stars. I mean, that doesn't mean that he's not a movie star. Anyway, yes, obviously. And by the way, I feel like Brad Pitt and whatever's going on there should be discussed more. Another one of his kids just removed the name Pitt from, is it Shiloh who removed the name Pitt from her name? That is very specific. It just feels like it keeps getting, like, thrown under the rug for some reason, and I don't understand it.
Yes, it's Shiloh because Zahara is busy strolling at her HBCU. Those videos are so fun to watch, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. The whole Brad Pitt thing, and then him just like, I'm back on the press trail with George Clooney, and we're just a couple of guys laughing. It's like,
dubious.
All right.
Yeah, right. Very strange.
Meanwhile, I have no interest in seeing the movie Wolf.
No. I mean, I barely sat through the first one, and I enjoyed that one with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's a pretty good movie, though.
Yeah, right. Also, weirdly, a Mike Nichols movie.
Yeah. He was freestyling on that one. Let's just say that.
He was like, let's keep it fucked up this time. Yeah.
Speaking of my queen, Angelina Jolie, she is looking fucking amazing as the press is ramping up for the Maria premiere.
And I keep hearing that movie might not be it, which is really disappointing to me. Again, I know nothing. It could be amazing.
Although, you didn't like any of the others in Pablo's trilogy anyway, did you?
Spencer, I thought, had okay moments. Jackie, I straight up didn't like, other than I actually do really like Greta Gerwig in that movie. And also John Hurt in that movie.
Did she play the gunshot?
Really yes. The quirky gunshot, yes.
She did the jitterbug before she hit JFK.
Oh, no. Yeah. By the way, everybody needs to watch Mistress America. I feel like that movie goes totally under the radar for Greta Gerwig.
I actually have not seen it.
Really good. Really, and Lola Kirk is good in it, too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but I look forward to a story about Maria Callas. I love the play Masterclass by Terrence McNally. I know that's not the same vibe at all, but I think she's a fascinating figure.
Anyway, I think that, part of the problem with J-Lo is that just because of who she is, there's this inability to not monetize everything about her life.
Right.
So maybe that was part of the problem too. I wanted them to be happy and we don't need a product, but she's used to being the product. And what do you do when you can't sell yourself?
That's true. Wow. I feel like you just put out better VO for the This Is Me Then movie than she even wrote. You should have been a consultant.
I'm just here thinking about her being Alexandra Delago in Sweet Bird of Youth. Okay,
you think Jennifer Lopez is the new Geraldine Page? Okay.
And Ben Affleck is the new Paul Newman.
Okay, that I could kind of dial into a little bit, at least in terms of the ruggedness, the something behind the eyes that's actually a little bit darker than you expect.
Although he actually might be the Geraldine Page here because he is the one who is now picking up with a younger Paramore.
Oh my God. And then when this story came out, first of all, I don't even want to say the words Kick and Kennedy together, let alone because they represent a person. What?
Let me tell you my process in discovering that Ben Affleck is hanging out with a woman named Kit Kennedy.
No.
I was like, there's another one?
Right.
Like these Kennedys come out of the woodwork.
Right.
2, I Googled her name because I was like, it has to be a nickname. And it is. Her real name's Kathleen. But then I looked it up as to how she got the nickname Kick. And it comes from her great aunt, who, you guessed it, died with her husband in a plane crash because she's a Kennedy. She was nicknamed Kick because she was a kick at parties. And I'm like, the 20s were something, weren't they?
Yeah, I was going to say, girl, what flapper came up with this? Yeah.
Well, you're a real kick. Yeah. And then to name her that.
She had like a sister named the Bee's Knees Kennedy. Yeah.
So this was the whole process in discovering this. And then I discovered a friend of mine had like a mutual friend with Kit Kennedy. And one time had like asked her to leave their home.
Okay.
Because she's RFK's daughter.
Right. Yes.
The other crazy part about this, RFK's daughter is who Ben Affleck is hanging out with. That side of the Kennedy family seems to be like the messy side, to say the least.
I would describe them as rancid. Yes. I was going to say, I think we are very much done with Cheryl Hines, much as I enjoyed her in the original movie of Waitress.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the Kennedys right now. It's feeling very America, the television series, in a way that it's like, we really are just like never going to get rid of these certain American dynasties, are we? We've got, the Trumps fought their way in to be these new characters the past few years, and I'm like, I really cannot endure a 4th Trump election cycle. Like, this needs to be the end.
Yeah, please.
And I do not want another one of them to try and run for office. But like one of the Dons is going to try to, Don Jr., one of the Dons. There's only one, Don Jr., and the other one's name is Eric.
We can call them collectively Dons. That's fine.
The Dons. We've got them. We've got the Clintons. It's just like, enough.
No, it's a bit sickening. Yeah. Well, again, it's like how people only want to see movies they've seen before. I constantly think about when I was an RA at the University of Iowa, there was a girl who came to the desk and she's looking through the movies you can rent. She goes, I only want to see something I've seen before. And I'm like, that is a fucking sickness. And that is what is going on with this country. I said 21-year-old in my oversized Iowa t-shirt.
Sometimes that does hit me, though. Sometimes you do want to rewatch something you've seen before, but not all the time.
Right. I don't want to. Yeah. Certainly, I don't want to live in a recycled politician universe. Yeah.
But no, the whole Kennedy of it all. RFK. Let's just talk about it. He is Norman Bates with the dead carcasses like that keep popping up around him. He ran over a cub.
Right, and then the cub had to be in his car, and then it became like a 90s family film where just like you left that in the car, and that's supposed to be. It's very shocking.
He killed a bear cub and then placed it somewhere in Central Park.
And it was a mystery that lingered for years. People were familiar with the story.
And by the way, I think Jack Schlossberg's sister is the one who wrote the initial New York Post article about the dead bear cub, not knowing that it was her uncle.
No, this is like something out of like some Mary Higgins Clark ass shit. What is going on here?
And then there was the news story about how he was driving around with like a whale carcass, his head on the top of his car. This is a creepy family. Okay. And I mean, there's already the Kennedy curse. Like, never get on a plane with any of these people.
Please.
But
any transportation, honestly.
I'm
thinking about Ted Kennedy. Go ahead. Yeah.
The dead animals, his creepy workout videos too. Like, what is wrong with this man?
Yeah, there's not one thing is right. And also, I still am not over the cycle that happened with the worm in the ear and in the brain.
Yes.
Excuse me.
My God, yes. The worm in the brain.
What last-minute ass Aaron Sorkin pitch was that? That there is actually a worm in his brain.
We might be in Ryan Murphy territory, actually.
Yeah.
This is the politician.
And excuse me, let's move on to that. Did you fucking see the preview for the new Menendez Brothers show that Ryan Murphy is responsible for? And the Menendez Brothers are, excuse me, hugging shirtlessly, and they're also the most ripped people I have ever seen. Ryan, it's time for the lobotomy. It is time for the lobotomy. Sarah Paulson, help him.
He is always cooking, isn't he? There's some new show coming out that Travis Kelce is going to be in called Grotesquerie. So you just sit around coming up with titles.
Right.
And then he's like, this would be a show.
Right. Maybe, and he's inspired. He's like, what word would fit in the song Family Affair by Mary J. Blige, but isn't there yet? Grotesquerie. Yeah.
So yeah, Ben Affleck, I don't know if there's this darkness that J-Lo's talking about, but he said, don't get involved with the Kennedys.
Yeah, please. Oh, please, J-Lo. Please, we're begging you.
Jen Garner and Jennifer Lopez, stage an intervention, keep him away from Kate Kennedy.
That would be, thank you so much. Actually, and I would watch a First Wives Club-like movie with exactly the three of them. That's
our talk about Bennifer. I wish them luck.
or whatever they need, yeah.
Damn, love is really going to cost a lot of things, as it were.
That's the Jay Leno joke we needed to end on. Not that he would have known what love don't cost a thing was, but he should have.
I'll tell you one thing Jay's going to do. You know she is just waiting to wear that dress again.
Oh my God.
That Versace dress. That
Round
Versace
4.
dress. I know that dress hates to see her coming.
Not this bitch again.
And we're back for our favorite segment of the episode, Keep It. Louis,
yes.
What is your Keep It this week?
This is sort of a Keep It, but I want to say something about this show. So, Clinton Kelly and Stacy London, who helmed the show What Not to Wear in the 2000s, the fabulous TLC show where they were truly rude to people about what clothes they wore and what they should be wearing, are coming back. They have reunited. They had a long falling out for years and years. They are friends again, and they have a new show called Wear Whatever the F You Want. And now, I will say, for 2024, that's probably the spirit of a show like this. Like, let's... whatever somebody's personal style is, let's just enhance that. Let's not put too many rules on them. Let's help them find the best way to express this thing that is inside them using clothes. My Keep It, though, is I do feel that the title of this show implies that something was wrong, or shall we say utterly insensitive about what not to wear. And I want to say keep it to that, because that show was important for what it was, which was, it wasn't just prescribing rules and saying if you don't dress like this it's bad. They found rules specifically for each individual person, and I felt that on that show, even though they were sassy, even though they would ruin some of these people's day by criticizing their favorite skirt, that had like a completely unsewn hemline or whatever, there was something about that show where the rudeness actually got through to people. Because I thought on that show, the genius thing was they were addressing people who never thought critically about what they wore, that thought that clothes didn't send a message, that they were absolved from the world of fashion as they participated in the world. And the fact is, no matter who you are, you're wearing a uniform. Your uniform says something. It pertains to a function in the universe. It pertains to what you think of yourself, and all of these things are evident and should be evident to you. So I just want to say, in a sort of weirdo keep it, that the original point of What Not to Wear, I think, still stands. And even though this show sounds a little bit more, I'm sorry to use the word woke, but I think both this show and the original version of the show still have a place in the world, and I hope they don't lose their saltiness when addressing these people.
Well, I appreciated that cerulean monologue that you just gave me.
What not to wear and wear whatever the F you want. They're so different.
The what not to wear was the original. This stuff. You think it has nothing to do with you.
Yes. They were both so funny. That show was so much funnier than it needed to be.
Well, I hope that this show still allows them to be.
Yeah. No, again, people now use the word bullying. I don't think it's always bullying, but like that's what people remember. Oh, you said something devastating about my outfit. Now I'm going to associate that with the outfit.
Why do you think we do supercuts of Michael Kors when he was on Project Runway? We missed that.
Right. Oh, my God.
I missed Tabitha taking over.
Tabitha is one of the most intimidating people ever to have lived, let alone be on TV. If she looked right at you, you would dissolve. I mean, like, there should be a biopic, and she should be played by, of course, Tilda Swinton.
I see that. You know what? They added the Tabitha shows to Peacock, finally. I think I should rewatch them. I want to see how mean this bitch really was.
Tabitha Salon Takeover, you're talking about.
And then just Tabitha's Takeover, which it became in like the last couple seasons, where she was just walking into any front door and telling people what was wrong.
Countries. She's like, let's switch this up. I want to watch actually Sheer Genius again. I thought Jaclyn Smith was a good host of that show.
Jaclyn Smith. My favorite joke in Zoolander is when one of the evil models is making fun of Christine Taylor, and she refers to her wearing her Jaclyn Smith Kmart collection clothes.
Of course. Ira, what is your keep it this week?
Okay, my keep it involves a show that I binged all day yesterday. So I was sick and was like, let me watch a TV show. And then I ended up watching all 8 episodes of Popstar Academy.
Oh, I've seen an episode and a half of this. It is very addicting.
Yes. So this show is a behind-the-scenes documentary of a YouTube series that existed prior called Dream Academy. So Dream Academy aired from August to November in last year. It was creating a global girl group. And global girl group means like they were assembling people from all over the globe. They were the Planeteers, basically a pop.
Sure, yes. Earth, Fire, Wind, Water, Heart, Go, Pop Girls.
And it was made in conjunction with Geffen Records and Hybe, which is like a K-pop label. And so it was trying to create...
It's in the mold of creating a K-pop group, but with a global feel, yes.
So there's a lot of international girls in it, people speaking different languages, but it's all very like K-pop-y with, you know, the moves and the faces and the
attitude,
training,
really.
the attitude.
Yeah.
And it's created in the sort of essence of K-pop, you know, and K-pop is very popular. You know, I love Blackpink, you know, I've loved Red Velvet, I love Le Sserafim, who pop up in this series. But this show, going behind the scenes of it, I never watched Dream Academy. And seeing how this show was crafted is kind of diabolical. It was a survival series, and a survival series is sort of a show where people are eliminated. It's very American Idol-ish, you know. But there came a point where some of the girls were being eliminated, and then at one point the girls have to sort of name who they would pick in their group for one of the eliminations, and they're recorded saying this, and then the girls are shown what the other girls were saying about them.
I just want to say this is like the tenderest age of all time. A lot of these people, they're like teenagers. It's utterly traumatizing. It's horrible to pit people of this age against each other like that.
Yeah, and especially since you're creating a group that you want people to be connected with. I just thought the creation of this group, which I think is kind of great, and I love their songs. Debut is like a really fun song, and their EP, Sis, just came out. But the creation of this group was just like so nasty to watch. Watching them pit the girls against one another, these under 18 girls, fostering this sort of hatred against the girls and creating cliques and everything. There was this girl, Manon, in the group, this black girl. She was one of the few black girls who's actually in the program, too. She doesn't really fit in with the girls. She doesn't have a roommate, and so she gets to live with her sister at her home in LA. And this, of course, separates her from the girls even more. And then she gets COVID and is missing some rehearsals. And there's just certain parts in the series where you could see the other girls aren't voting for her in that elimination thing for her to be in the group. Like, they're not even happy for her that she's doing so well in the fan votes. And that's just sort of sad to see that now we've created this group and now there's this documentary on the behind the scenes and she's going to see all of this about, you know, what her teammates thought of her.
Right. I also just think something, I've only seen an episode and a half of this. The adults on this show are bone chilling. Like these people who are looking for stars, and they have these rubrics for what makes, like, she's the most talented dancer, or like one of them is dancing ability, one is singing ability, one is attitude, another one is wants to learn. I'm like, wants to learn? Yentl, this is your shot, bitch. Let's get in there.
The critiques are harsh. The behind the scenes where they're just discussing the dancers in such a technical way, it is, I mean, it's a peek behind the curtain, but I don't think I wanted to look behind that curtain.
Right. And in a way, it's like, it's interesting because you can sort of, if you're being a critic, like, you might make the same decisions yourself, but there's just a hardness to the whole operation that is so grim.
We know what the K-pop girls go through, and so it's just hard seeing these girls go through that same thing too. But it was entertaining to watch, so maybe I'm part of the problem.
Also, when we get into Podcast Academy, absolutely we're going to be eliminated on attitude grounds. I absolutely am positive.
I will be Manon missing rehearsals.
Yeah. You'll get COVID a record amount of times. Yeah.